Today's session is meant to be in interactive format, so please don't hesitate to join the discussion round and feel free to post your questions, your comments. All sessions will be recorded.
I will now give you a short overview. We are a research project called Speculative Space, which is located at the Center for Design Research at HAW Hamburg. We are 8 researchers coming from very different backgrounds. The main question of our research is about the epistemic potentials of speculation. We try to find out which forms of specific knowledge are produced by processes that work speculatively or from a speculative position. Speculation can question the status quo or what is believed to be something like a general truth or unquestioned knowledge. We assume that there is many possible forms of creating knowledge or insight. Embedded within this research project is this series of talks in which we search for the potentials of speculation. This is an ongoing project. We will invite different artists, scientists, researchers and designers who work in different contexts and ways with speculative tactics or approaches or fields that we find interesting within this context. The focus of the first block is on Afrofuturistic positions. This will be followed by contributions on feminist speculation, stock exchange specialists, divination and hopefully other fields. We hope to discover links, connections and points of contact with very different fields for a speculative design practice. If anyone wants to have the long version of this introduction, you can go to speclog.xyz.
Thank you for the intro. I'm an MC, artist, thinker, and someone who's still trying to navigate modern technology as we speak. And within that, I've been at the forefront, as you say, of working with that mix and meld of what we call hip hop, of what we call electronica, for like way over 20 years. Probably started somewhere in the early 90s making music and have continued to do so. Every single video of black pain and death can be a trigger. The squeeze on these triggers must be reduced. Trayvon Martin was taking flying lessons and wanted to be an engineer and an astronaut. Every black and brown face is the face of a space time traveler. These are the faces of future doctors and scientists. So again, it's that kind of connectivity in different realms, not just in the fantastic and the super speculative, talking about what could be and what was and this amazing kind of sense, but also in the everyday reality of our speculation, of making our lives better. So even sickle cell, how it can be treated. Who were those original thinkers? You know, people were in parts of the world 70, 80, 90,000 years ago, and they would have been people that we would now call black. They might not have called themselves black, but they themselves would have been black, and they populated the majority of the world, learned to speak, create blades and spears and fire, and began to selectively breed loads of the plants and animals and things that we now take for granted day in, day out. This is why people talk about cats coming from Egypt, the general house cat coming from Egypt. So how did the lion or the tiger become little Mr. Tibbles? This is science. These are the ancient Egyptians and the ancient Kemet and Ethiopia and all these places. They were doing all of this way beyond. So as I say, if time travel really exists, we will find it in the past. Black history, I'm going to paraphrase the Jungle Brothers here. African history is the world's history. And actually KRS said the same thing as well. This is the missing link. It's not just Black History for a month. It's not just Black History for a week or for 1 year. We, as human beings, will all gain if we get to understand different aspects of history from different groups, different ethnicities. I mean, Black isn't one ethnicity. It's Zulu, it's Xhosa, it's Creole, it's Caribbean, it's African American, it's the Bronx, it's LA, it's Brixton, it's Berlin, you know, it's Zimbabwe, it's Papua New Guinea. So there's so many different bits and pieces to what this Blackness is. And also for myself, I often tie my form of Blackness into a cosmic awareness of the universe. There's so many dimensions, and within the book as well, I also talk about senses. You know, we've been told we have 5 senses, and I think that is very reductionist. One of the senses I mentioned is a sense of time. So it's an abstract, but it's a real thing. Some people have a great sense of time and a great sense of timing when they sing or when they rap. And some people don't, are always on time. Some people are fashionably late. Some people are just late. Slow down time. In what's known as internal arts within the martial arts, you are able to slow down time. And this gives you a little bit more time to be able to respond to people, to react. Even now, I've slightly slowed down my speech, so I'm giving myself more time to actually think about what I'm saying, therefore I can make more sense. So I'm traveling within the same time as everybody else, but I'm making sure to make sense. Why, oh why? Within the multiverse, there's various different ideas and ideals, mostly from science fiction initially, and whether it be anything from old Jules Verne to trying to think, Philip K. Dick, and a lot of speculative science, quantum science and quantum science. So the idea that there's more than one reality, or there's more than one place that we could be in. So even down to particles, that a particle can be hit right here and can be halfway across the same galaxy at the same time. And this has been actually recognized in physics. This has actually been recognized, like things are beeping in and out of reality. The same particle, the same point in time is moving through space, sometimes seemingly very random and irregular ways. So the idea is that if there are more than one Earth, which has been speculated, more than one similar sun, that there could be more than one me. The whole branching theory and the idea of multiplicity and different versions of us as we may or not have been. When you reboot your computer, that's what I had to do before. You reboot the computer and you restart again. So you're coming into a new reality. Now they say, two atoms cannot occupy the same space at the same time. So we don't always get to see the other self acting itself out. So because we've changed it, it's like a multiverse idea which they used to call branching. So you've changed reality somewhat. Every time we speak, we change reality.
Walk like a champ, even on burning sands. If you know who you are, you rock your hologram. Know who you are, you rock your hologram.
So again, this is where we change our reality. I mean, here's me being outside of myself. I'm a father. I have two children. Even when I die, I'm still going to be their father. In 200 years' time, I'm still their father. This is me still having an impact on things, changing reality, but then also having an impact on things. And so the people who come after me, they will be able to achieve greatness, you know, real greatness. There are, I'm into, I'm really into the idea of the superhero, you know, the person that really creates their reality to another level. That whether it's moving faster or running for longer or jumping higher, whatever it is, again, the mind, this time it's the mind controlling and dictating to the body. We've seen things that happen in boxing or MMA or football that never happened before. You know, athletes are going faster. They're doing longer rounds. They're doing things that you never did before. There's moves. If you watch a fighter such as Israel Adesanya, I don't know if any of you watch MMA or anything. If you watch even Anderson Silva, George St. Pierre, they brought a new era of physical movement, the things that people can do, the people that once you allow yourself to think that, then you can achieve it. You unlock some sort of potential within the mind. You unlock some form of potential, and the brain, those neurons in the body can follow a whole new different pathway and really create something new and marvelous, really. So it's all about reimagining the future at every point. If time travel exists, we will find it in the past. If time travel exists, we will find proof of it in the past. We've already mapped so much, and like as you say, academia is catching up again. What stays true, a fact or a myth? Does the Earth go around the sun, or does the sun go around the Earth? Sun Ra often spoke about himself being a myth, the living myth, and a mythocracy. And he spoke on Black people being myth. You know, like, you obviously are not real because of how you're treated. So you must be a myth. And the thing is, myths still exist. Romulus and Remus built Rome, right? There's no evidence of them doing this, but we still tell the story. So the myth is far better than stories of people we've lost, like the Etruscans and people like this, who seem to be some of the progenitors of what we now call Italy. We don't know where they went, where they came from. We're not sure about the language, but we still have the story of Romulus and Remus. So the myth is stronger than the fact, and the facts will continually change. The Earth, the moon, and the sun supposedly went around the Earth. So humans believed at that time, and they were told no. It's changed, but the myths are still here. You know, if you so will it, the moon is made of cheese. If you think it so.
I am rocking my hologram. You are doing the same too. We all live up with the vibes.
So the myths continue. There's a dragon in the earth that's filled with energy that keeps the earth spinning. Is that the truth? I don't know. But it's also not the truth. So yeah, academia is continually playing catch up. And it's also the misunderstanding of a lot of those myths, because a lot of the ancients would put science, fact, within their ritual, within their religion, within their spirituality. This went throughout the majority of the ancient world, from what we called the Vikings, which wasn't exactly correct, the Chinese, the Mayans, the Zulus, all these different people over time have put scientific fact within their rituals. Is the question to be believed, known, or understood? In many African and indigenous types of thinking, time is not linear. Time is not just this straightforward thing where you just, Tuesday is always followed by Wednesday. There's several types of time. So there's a time, before we come into this existence. There's this time, and then there's several times after. So this is why people have a realm where they can communicate with the ancestors. You know, we see many different East Asian peoples leave candles and fruit out for their ancestors, for their parents, their great-grandparents, to get ideas from them, to get energy and love and tell them how they feel. They still exist. They're in another timeline, but they still exist in somehow, some shape or form. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. So what form they are, we don't know. We don't have the conceit of thinking they still have 5 fingers and 5 toes and all these kind of things. But their energy, like I said, I'll be a father even when I'm physically not here. So the ancestors are still my ancestors, whether I know them or not. And what energies they are, they may represent strange quarks or you know, strange attractors. They may be what people call ghosts. There may be lights. There may be so many different phenomena that exist day in and day out that people see, but they don't have the correct vocabulary for them. And it's not even about finding the right word. It's about finding the right feeling in order to deal with them and ourselves. I mean, once Europeans created the clock, it changed time. You know, once you put certain limitations on things or certain rules to it, then it operates by that for all the people who operate on that time. So it's all about reimagining the future.